World of Warcraft Classic, the re-release of the vanilla version of WoW. For myself and others, vanilla was our favorite flavor, and fresh classic servers were a way to enjoy and revisit an old flame of the MMORPG genre. That flame was further rekindled in recent years by the concept of the Hardcore Challenge. The basic idea? To reach level 60 in World of Warcraft Classic without dying a single time. No simple task in a game that was created with death intended to be a pretty common occurrence, whether by the strength of your enemies, simple mistakes, or by designed game mechanics. Over the years that classic servers have been online, I've seen the hardcore community grow from a few hundred people role-playing the challenge to official servers with full populations joining in on the fun. One thing I found consistent in playing this challenge is the ability it has to unite people. A feeling of collaboration towards overcoming the odds and helping out one another. In my opinion, nothing beats the rush of a team working together to survive a bad situation with everything on the line. Of course, there are bad apples, but it was this spirit of kinship that I knew was at the heart of this challenge's players. Drained from geopolitics and feeling helpless about social media vitriol, I sought a way I could illustrate the unity of people, even if it was within the confines of a 20-year-old video game. I would try and put trust over fear, have faith in my fellow players, and show the kindness strangers are capable of. I would try to complete the hardcore challenge while being PvP enabled the whole time. What does that mean exactly? Well, hardcore is played on a normal server, meaning that PvP, or player versus player combat, is not enabled in the open world by default. This makes sense, as being PvP flagged would allow anyone of the opposite faction to attack and kill you at any time, regardless of their level or gear difference, providing a quick end to your hardcore character's life. Having the PvP flag enabled would let any players of the opposing faction I encounter while leveling attack me on their terms. I could run into a group and become a piñata, or be one-shot out of nowhere by a stealth character. To ensure the most stress testing of my thesis, I would play on my region's most popular hardcore server, Doomhall US, and would play an alliance character, as the limited population data showed about a 4-to-1 split favoring the Horde, making for more potential engagements and tests of faith and friendship with my fellow players. I landed on Druid as a class, as it seemed to have a lot of mobility, healing, and stealth capabilities, all of which seem useful in regards to the circumstances. If I am attacked, I will not try to kill them, I will only try and make peace or run away. A Pacifist Run. With the baseline goal set, I sought to create a more refined rule set, and some mantras to make the run more authentic to the spirit of the challenge. First and most obviously, I must keep my PvP flag enabled at all times in the open world. There will be exceptions for group content as to not grief my group. For example, if a group I'm in is approaching our intended dungeon, the PvP flag will be timed to turn off as I enter the instance. This will allow me to be buffed and healed by my team, and ensures they won't have to flag and risk their characters as well. Since I'm in an instance, there's no horde anyway, so it eliminates no level of risk. In keeping with the idea of risk, I'll definitely have no high-level carries or bodyguards helping me. If I do group content, it has to be naturally, and I can't tell people I'm flagged in the interest of enticing them to protect me. Another rule is no dungeon grinding, as there's no PvP threat inside an instance dungeon. I will make a small exception for Scarlet Monastery Graveyard, should I get to the 30s. It's an excellent gold farm for mount money, and comes with built-in risk in getting past Undercity on the way to SM. I'm banning items that cheat death, such as Light of a Loon, Petri, or Limited Invulnerability Potion, or any other broken consumables I may have forgotten. I'm not going to do any primary professions either, as I'd rather just focus on leveling. The next set of rules I'm more flexible on, and are more about keeping with the spirit of the challenge. I plan to be a soft version of Self-Found, mostly selling items I find on the auction house, or giving them away. I'm really going to be avoiding buying anything too impactful. Some exceptions I can think of would be things that could also be bought from vendors, if I spend time camping them, such as low-level potions, and other books and scrolls. I won't be tricked out with any crazy gear, enchants, or consumables either. Also about gear, I'll try to mostly pass on dungeon loot, as since I can die at any time a lot more easily, it makes more sense for my teammates to have it. Another aim will be to try and avoid lots of layer hopping. As the realm population is segmented between different instances of the same world, Dodging people can be easy as a few clicks, so I'd really like to only layer if it's something that I would layer for on a regular character. This one is kinda gonna be honor system based, but you'll have to trust me on that. I'm telling myself it's okay to be sneaky, and reveal myself based on the vibes I'm getting from people while I'm watching them from the bushes. The true goal is getting to the end, and that will take all sorts of strategies. Last but not least, try to make some friends. Even though there's always a risk, I must overcome fear and have faith in my fellow hardcore players. That said, now that I've reached Dolinar, I continue questing south of town, when I already become the benefactor of some random kindness, as Asherina posts in general offering some low-level equipment for free. Meeting up with them, my first green item is acquired. Thanks to Asherina, officially the first name on our Pacifist's Pals list, kicking things off earlier than even I expected. Pal listed. You might say that I have low standards, but I say that all kindness is worth noting in this run. Who knows how long the pal list will be by the end of the run. Night Elf starting zone questing then continues, getting cheered on by Fern Droplet for a buff. I hit up Darkshire for some quest turn-ins, and then go to the river north of the city to ding level 10. I easily wrap up some quests and head back to Darn to ding level 11. I then cast Teleport Moonglade, which will take me to a neutral zone where druids can teleport at any time once trained at level 10. Every time I cast this spell, there's a chance there will be a high level player sitting on the other side to spot me and potentially, well, you know. Lucky for me, there's nobody around, though this is far from the last time I'll come here. I start the quest for Bear Form, druid's first shapeshift spell. After catching a taxi to Darkshire, I continue the bear quest in Darkshore, defeating Lunaclaw and hurrying back to the city to turn in and get beefy. Returning to the river area, I head towards the Harpies and get a whisper from Spoofy Toofy, asking to team up for the Mist Escort quest. I join up and spy another hunter, Kesmet, and get them in on the action. We start the quest, and Spoofy doesn't realize that Mist follows the quest beginner, and beginner is more than apt here. No worries though, as we finish easily. I wrap up Harpies and ding level 12, ready now to tackle the Relics of Awakening. I ask in general if anyone else wants to join, and Kesmet from earlier does. We meet up, and after a little pull confusion, we clean up the rest of the barrow den and part ways. With Dolinar wrapped, I hearth back to Darn and fly to Aberdeen. From here, I start my usual Darkshore route, starting with investigating the red crystals to get the staff. This dings me level 13, and I then go south to capture a bear, snatch some leftovers from the Murlocs, discover the Furbolgs, and turn in Buzzbox number 1. From there, a quick jump off the dock splashes me down by the Threshers, and the turtle remains. After turn-ins, I head northeast to the ruins and pillage some jewelry off fallen imps. I ding level 14 and continue north, working on kill quests and nabbing more bones from the Murlocs. Once my bloodshed is satisfied, I teleport to Moonglade to train. It's quiet once again, though I don't stress it too much. I feel like when druids see each other here, there's a Continental from John Wick type arrangement, where there's no fighting on hotel grounds. Flying back to Darkshire, I turn in, grab the next druid quest, and turn it back in at Moonglade, then hearth to Aberdeen. Turn-ins here let me ding level 15, and I then get rolling on the southern Darkshore quests. I complete the Furbolgs, Amethyran quests, and more of the Murloc Michelinas. Next is delivering the letter to Onu, and finishing the Buzzbox chain. Back in Aberdeen, I ding 16 and leave town towards the Imp area to complete that chain. Next up is the Mushroom Cave, an infamous and deadly spot with fast respawns and enemies that knock back and heal. Most of the death cap shrooms that we need are guarded by pairs of higher level Twilight thugs that slap. A recipe for disaster, for sure, with a bright red deathlog map splotch. As I reach the waterfall that serves as the cave entrance, I meet Shiibasu, another druid here on the Mushroom Quest. And here's where I make probably my biggest misplay so far. I haven't done this druid quest in a long time, and forget that when you collect the water sample, 2 additional Naga spawn to attack you. With Shiibasu already pulling a nearby healer mob, the 2 I spawn make for trouble, especially since Shiibasu can't heal me while I'm flagged. Lucky for me, my druid pal notices the danger and falls back with me to kill one and reset the others. We continue fighting into the cave, while I try my best to position us not to fly off the cliffside. I get my death cap from an upstairs spawn, and Shiibasu wants to check deeper in the cave. I'm hesitant because of the thugs I mentioned earlier, but being the boo-boo in this Yogi Bear dynamic, we proceed with caution. We clear the lower cave, and Shiibasu passes a chest to me kindly. But then...
Great to meet you.
Panic time. I waffle between running and committing, releasing a few times and fumbling on my keyboard like it's a jazz piano. By some miracle, the mobs have trouble deciding who to kill, and we escape, without issue. So now that we had that scare, we regroup and focus up to cleanly get, we split our attention. Double regrowth and put your faith in the bear form.
Nope.
I think we're doing a great job illustrating why so many people die in this cave, except we have plot armor for some reason. Skill difference, I guess. Still wanting to bail, I spy another death cap on the top level to get us moving upward. We work our way there and get the bag. We exit the cave, say our goodbyes, and I part ways with Shiibasu, a top-tier Pacifist Pal list member. Moments later, Twink Fairy posts in general looking for Den Mother. We team up and down the bear. Too focused on my health, I didn't notice AoE Bozo whisper until it was too late. Not that I was the group leader anyway to invite them. AoE Bozo then warns me that I'm flagged, and I thank them for the message. Returning to the Furbolgs, I kill Zabraxis and grab his amulet. One quick teleport to Moonglade to train, and I follow it up with the Hearth Tabardine. After turning in quests, I go to Darkshire and sell some junk on the auction house, then train First Aid. Back in Darkshore, I get some less scary cave mushrooms for the Poison Cure quest, and head north to the beach for crab chunks. I then hit up the Tower of Alphalax, and have a nice time sharing the area with a hunter named Deathshot. I ding 17 on completing the quest, and head out to try my luck with Gyromast. With 3 key pieces gathered, I assemble the key and activate the robot. He beats the stuffing out of my bear, and so I dipsy-doodle over the log and lose aggro. After, I meet a nice paladin named Benodin, and decide to wait for first mate. A quick scout for Lady Vespira, a nearby rare that can drop a dagger or a blue ring, and not finding her, I hearth. Running south out of town along the water, I ruin Murkdeep's beachside bonfire, and then head east to start the Master's Glaive chain. I team up with a hunter there, named Miststalker, and we do the Dryad Escort quest. Afterwards, I suggest that we do Kerlonian and One Shot One Kill, 2 nearby quests, together, and we decide to do so and go wake the sleepy bear. We head south along the mountains and avoid the ambushes on the road, and help the sentinel in the hills. Maybe she's from Westfall. Entering Ashenvale for the first time, we cut through Maestra's post and drop off the Bear Dozer, part ways. I nab the Astronar flight path, then remember to go turn in the Dryad Escort and Hearth. Turn-ins ding me 18 and I wait, that paladin buffed me without flagging. This happened earlier too, but I didn't notice it then. Neat. Back in Moonglade, I train and head to Darnassus, grabbing the Aquatic Forum quest. Then hitting up the auction house, I buy some potions, Earthroot for the Druid quest, and a couple of greens, including a 4 strength, 4 stam leather belt, level 18? I really don't plan on doing much buying on the auction house, especially in the later levels once it's more meaningful. For now, I get a little treat, so deal with it. Teleporting back to Moonglade, I continue the Aquatic Forum chain, and return to Alberdine. In the northern waters of Darkshore, I collect the first pendant piece. While we're up here, it's time for my robotic revenge. I abuse Gyromast with entangling roots, like a wedge-shaped BattleBot Roomba. Nothing beats Wedge. I peep around for a Vespira, not finding her, and complete the chain to obtain Cure Poison. It's now time to take the boat to Menlethil Harbor and start the run to Ironforge. This tunnel is a spot griefers wait for Horde players to get flagged by these guards. If I see any Horde going to Kargath, they might think I'm bait of some kind. A small benefit to the otherwise stinky hobby of griefing. Griefers have been around for as long as hardcore has, and they were a small part of the inspirations for this video, to try and show that collaboration is more common in this community. The hunters that kited Teramis on the Lobies, flagged rogues named some variation of Goldtooth, rogues following flagged Horde scouts and Swamposaurus, and the tunnel campers. It's a choice, though I gotta say it looks really lonely on their side of the fence. Once reaching Ironforge, I trammed to Stormwind, grabbing Westfall related quests before running there. Starting Westfall is always nostalgic for me as an Alliance player in vanilla. It's also where I first heard about hardcore. On the Bloodsail Buccaneers realm in 2020, I ran into someone in Westfall doing a quest I was on. I invited them to group, but they declined, saying that they were doing the hardcore challenge. I asked what that was, and they explained the rules. I was so intrigued, I immediately logged out and rolled my first hardcore character, a dwarf priest. Months later, I would ding 60 on that same priest, on the night before I was to undergo a minor surgery. I joked to my guild that I would be risking my real-life hardcore run, though the procedure was minimal. Either way, I would still be under anesthesia. It would require me to put my faith in a team of doctors, and have my life in their hands. It's a feeling I made peace with, and a piece of that feeling is what drives me to trust that I'll complete this challenge. Having faith in myself and others. It's naive to think that there won't be any danger, but a trust will make more friends than foes. As we cruise through Westfall questing, I dig 19, cleaning up the last Defias kill quest, and Murk-Eye at the lighthouse. I set out to farm maybe the most important item in this challenge, magic dust, from the Dust Devils of Westfall. This dust can instantly put an enemy to sleep, which is crazy useful for people who need to run away from danger. And who's got 2 thumbs and is in danger? This guy. Landing back in Stormwind, I buy some cute shoes to match my belt. 4 strength, 4 stam, leather boot. Now being well equipped for walking, I run to Goldshire to collect the Bag of Marbles, another potentially useful survival item. Following that up with trekking to Redridge and digging 20 on my rival at Lakeshire. After continuing the Van Cleef chain, I train maces in Ironforge and pass Tijai back in Stormwind, who thanks me for a buff. Back in Westfall, I get to the last step of the Van Cleef quest chain and head to the coast to finally grab the second half of the Aquatic Pendant. Teleporting to Moonglade, I train spells and get both Aquatic and Cat form. I then return to Redridge and put my new form to use doing the lake diving quests. Grokter informs me that I'm flagged after giving a buff, earning him a spot on the PAL list. I complete the early Lakeshire quests north and south of town, and turn everything in to ding level 21. We buff Ladina, who bows kindly, and head to the Murlocs. Kellendal is there, and he kindly helps me kill some mobs. Another 2 pull while keeping an eye on my buddy, and once my mobs are dead, I go and toss him a heal and help finish... wait, no, Brother... Drowning? Not like this. The first death in this challenge, and it isn't even me. Kellendal, I'll remember you for your kindness, but not your lung capacity. Finishing the Murlocs, I head north and fail at splitting up Yaller's camp until Moonsita, Intolerant, and Makino show up to help get it done, netting a nice early ring. Flying to Menethil, I grab quests and start the Crocs and Murlocs chains. Afterwards, taking the boat to Theramore and digging 22 on the Discovery. A quick check-in with Peter for Peter's pants, followed by a stop at Moonglade to train. I then go back to Stormwind and purchase some shoulders from the auction house to appear larger to predators, and grab an Oni buff to squander in Redridge. Waffling on doing the Keyshawn escort, I return to Peter, and luckily Peter's pants are available, and it's off to Neverland to start the Lux and Crocs Part 2. Afterwards, I meet the excavation team and deal with the first half of their Raptor issue, then turning everything in at Menethil to ding 23. A revisit to Render's Valley is deemed still too scary, so Belly Grub gets taken down instead. A jaunt south gets me to Darkshire, where I grab quests and start south of town. This area is a bit of a Horde highway for those heading from Stranglethorn Vale to Stonard in Swamp of Sorrows, namely ones who are much higher level, so I'll have to keep a lookout. Working my way west, I say hi to Dodds, Jitters, Sven, and the Hermit. Cleaning up the local wildlife, a bunch of turn-ins get me to ding 24. Nabbing Sven's book with some spicy pulls, I return it to him and then teleport to Moonglade. A hunter Bizukua whispers me that I'm flagged. It ain't easy being green, but thanks pal, your heart's in the right place. The next target on my to-do list is to visit Wailing Caverns in the Barrens, and grab some flight paths along the way. This will be my first time really heading through Horde territory, and I'm strangely pumped. The excitement that hardcore injects into this old game is ever present when you need to be watching your back at all times. Starting the run east through Ashenvale, I take my usual zigzag past Splinter Tree Post, luckily not encountering any Horde passerby. I stop in on Ashour's border and grab this crucial flight path connection, then drop into the river below. Continuing down South Furry River, I pass Orgrimmar, and eventually step into the Barrens, working down the coast until reaching Ratchet and grabbing the flight path. Feeling good about this trip so far, I decide to head to Booty Bay and grab the flight path there as well. Waiting for the boat, I meet Lucky Kilky, a level 40 plus undead rogue who's taking the same boat. I greet them and they give a little wave. After some apprehension, I decide the vibes are good, and dance my fears away with Elias. As we sail out to sea, there's some mixed emotions. This is the thesis being put to the test. It's out of my hands, resting gently in Kilky's. We ultimately are validated when we arrive without issue. Never a doubt. Shout out to my boat buds. And with that pleasant interaction, I'm going to wrap up the video with this week's Pacifist MVPs, Most Valuable Pals. Our Alliance MVP is Shiibasu, who clutched up with me on our mushroom trip. The Horde MVP this episode has to be Lucky Kilky. They definitely earned the MVP title by sharing a chill boat trip to Booty Bay. Shout out to both of the MVPs. Next episode, we'll be returning to Ratchet and then heading to Wailing Caverns to try and solo farm the leggings of the Fang, and maybe some hides if we're lucky. Lastly, this is the first YouTube content I've ever made. Thank you all for watching the first episode of the Pacifist Challenge. Please let me know in the comments below your thoughts and hopefully constructive feedback, as I'm eager to hear what you have to say. Consider subscribing to follow the series as new episodes are released. For now, good luck out there, and stay safe.